Hey folks, it's Dr. Rowe here. I hope you are well. Summer's slowly creeping away from us. We're losing it, aren't we? Anyway, I thought I'd just share a very short message with you because I got a lesson from my eldest daughter who's 11 years of age this week, and it was to do with the someday story that we tell ourselves. So you may have come across this, I'm sure you have if you're in the personal development world. But one of the things that I learned years ago, and I use this to reflect back on my audiences and to myself, or have it reflected upon me by someone else, in this case my daughter this week, is the fact that often we say, yeah, someday or one day. It's either someday or one day. One day I'm going to do this, or someday I'm going to do this. And as an example, this last weekend, one of the things I said to my audience was, you know, if you've ever said someday I'm going to get into property, or someday I'm going to write a book, or one day I'm going to do this with my family, or one day I'm going to go and have that experience. The challenge, of course, is there that you haven't set that as a specific goal. So if you've ever, for example, open up a diary, it's a classic thing I say to you, open up a diary, open up a calendar, particular calendar, and have a look inside and try and look down there and say, when is one day? When is Sunday? It's like, when is that? It's not written down. So we use it as an excuse, and you can argue backwards and forwards with me, but I actually think it is an excuse. I think it's something that we have historically as human beings done as an easy way to avoid setting it and making a decision and putting the action in place, putting the effort behind it. It's a very easy pass away comment. It's one that we can sidetrack a conversation with. It's one that we can deflect a commitment to. It's one that easily can be used to put that effort back or that commitment back to another time in the future. And as much as you and I might want to argue about that, the reality is it is a truth. So one day, someday is a really common dream statement. Oh yeah, one day we're going to go to the Caribbean. One day we're going to go to the Maldives. Someday we're going to change the car and get one of these cars. One day I'm going to take you to this beautiful place and give you this experience. All right, but when the fuck is that? When are we going to do it? Yeah, we're going to do it one day. When? One day. I'm going to get into property. When? We'll do it one day. One day next week. There's 365 days next year. What about choosing a day? One day I'm going to write a book. Okay, well, when are you going to write it? Well, sometime in the future. Well, when exactly in the future? Do you mean in the future like in the next 5 minutes? Because that's in the future. Or do you mean in the future in the next 5 years? And it's the same thing with relationships, everything. And we all fall into this trap depending on what our emotional level of development is, how much pressure we've got on us, how many distractions are going on around us, and how important it is that we fulfill that goal. So what happened this week was we were at a climbing centre, myself and my daughter and my good friend Harminder. If you've not seen Harminder, you're going to need to go and look us on the Seekardo show, Seekardo, Seekardo.com. Go and have a look at the podcast that we have, and it's been rebranded recently, but you'll find out more about that if you go and watch the show. Brilliant show, this, by the way, this last week. Anyway, Harms was with us as well. We're in a climbing centre, and my daughter's saying to me, Savannah, oh daddy, when are we going to go and look at some climbing shoes, because I really want to get a pair now that fit me more comfortably. And I said to her, okay, yeah. So I found a couple of places. There's one in Guildford. We'll just head out there. And she goes, when? And I said, we'll go one day next week. And she said to me, what do you mean one day next week? I said, well, we'll just go one day next week. And she said to me, but I thought you said, Daddy, you can't say someday or one day. I thought you said you have to actually put a specific date on it. And Harminder just burst into laughter. He was like, you've been nailed, man, with your own philosophy. And I was like, yes, well done, Savannah. Lesson for Daddy. So we set a date, and then we said, right, we're going to look at some shoes first online, and then from that it makes it better when we get there. It builds that excitement up. So now, of course, we've got something we can do in advance of that day, and then when she leads up to the day, she gets even more excited. And that's one of the benefits of actually setting a specific date to do something, because now you put activity consciously to achieve that goal, to work towards it. Who do I need to speak to? Where do I need to do the research? I can start to build up an anticipation, so when I'm there, super pumped to do it. So I don't know if anyone relates to this. Give me some shouts and waves if you do. So here's my $64 million question, if you're watching this and you stay with this for this last 5 or 7 minutes. What would be, and you might want to type these in here, what would be one of your Sundays? What would be one of your one days that you put on a personal level, on a professional level? What's just one thing that you know consciously, or if you reflect back and go, fuck, actually, I've been saying this for a long time. What have you put off as an excuse that one day you're going to do it, that you just say, sod it, we're going to do it now? And if you're going to do it, you have to say when you're going to start it. You don't have to do the whole thing. You just have to set a date to do it, to start it. You know, what's one action you can do to get there? It is the biggest excuse that people make for pursuing their passions, their dreams, etc. Or down to even smaller things like getting a pair of climbing boots. Daddy made that mistake. So sometimes our children can be our best teachers, or best reminders of teachers, or what we teach. For example, was it Socrates that said remembering is learning? And that's so true. Anyway, I'm going to sign off. So if you get a chance, type in here, what is one of your Sundays that you've made an excuse in the past? Dr. Rose signing out.